The Prime Minister is facing backlash after inviting a Labor election candidate to a Vietnamese event, but allegedly snubbing Dai Le, the only MP currently of Vietnamese heritage. Critics are accusing the Prime Minister of politicising the event that celebrates 50 years of the Vietnamese-Australian community. Labor, though, says that Tu Le, the Labor candidate, was invited because she won a significant community award in 2022. Joining me now is the independent member for Fowler, Dai Le. Thank you for your time. What do you make of that explanation? A community award means that Tu Le was invited.
Well, I would question, I probably won one of the biggest community award in 2022 by winning the seat of Fowler. I think that's a significant award by the people of Fowler, I would say. But look, you know, it's not, to me, it doesn't matter about the invitation. I think that for me, the question is the genuineness of the Prime Minister in marking the 50th anniversary of Vietnamese-Australian settlement and their contributions to Australia. Now, why didn't he do that in our community, where there's a high population of Vietnamese Australian who've contributed massively to our society? Why, as according to Senator Murray Watts said this morning on Channel 9, he's on the harbour side having just a few champagne drinks, so there's nothing wrong with that. Really, to me, it has to be more inclusive than just a handful of people. And look, he should call it out. It's a political campaign.
Well, perhaps it's, you know, community members going and seeing a pretty nice location at Kirribilli, but what about clarification? Did you ask the Prime Minister's office what the reason was? I guess, you know, sometimes things get lost in the mail, whether it was deliberate, and what the reason was for Tu Le being invited and you not being invited?
Well, the first invitation to the lodge, the invitation got lost through communication, so I got invited last. So, and of course, the citizenship ceremony, the invitation that was never in the mail in the first place, and you know, the lie that was told that I received and I boycotted. Honestly, I just don't know what this government is doing in terms of the way that they're engaging with our community in Fowler. At the moment, I think, look, I just got a call actually from a friend of mine from Western Australia. She rang me. She goes, "Oh, Dai, are you going to be at Kirribilli House? Because, you know, I just got this invitation." And, you know, I said, "Oh, I'm actually not there. I wasn't invited." She goes, "What? But you're the first federal Vietnamese-Australian MP." I said, "Well, you can go up to the Prime Minister and ask him why I wasn't invited." So, you know, and that'll be interesting to find out what his explanation will be to her. So she's a quite prominent person from Western Australia.
Okay, well, we'll await that perhaps. Are you taking this personally? Will this affect how you decide to lend your support in terms of minority government if that eventuates?
I learned one thing in politics, Tom, and that is to play the ball, not the man or the woman. So for me, this is a political game that the Prime Minister, you know, is playing, as well as, you know, Tony Burke is played. And I accept that as a political game. I mean, I will call it out for what it is. But, you know, when it comes to my community, I will put the needs of my community front and centre of any decision that I make, and whichever government forms, whoever forms government.
And what does that mean? You will seek specific things for your community in order to give supply and confidence for whatever government forms after the election. Is that what you'd be after?
Look, I'll be after what it is that my community, you know, what the priorities that my community needs from health, education, you know, small business, manufacturing. I want to see the policies of the government or whoever forms government, what it is and how it benefit my community of Fowler. And then we'll sit down and negotiate.
And what would that mean, though? I guess there's a difference between whether or not you assess the overall policies as they are to your electorate or seek something similar to what Andrew Wilkie was seeking, gambling reform, but also a hospital. Would you be seeking a special deal, I guess, for your electorate?
Look, I don't think I'm going to do deals. I think it's about, you know, I want to hear what whoever forms government, how genuine they are in committing to, you know, resourcing, to prioritising a community, my community of Fowler and, you know, Southwest Sydney in their decisions, in their policies. And it's too presumptuous
So
at the
not a
moment.
special piece of infrastructure or something else. You wouldn't look for something that specific as a sweetener.
There are so many. There are so many. Too many for me to list for you. From our health system, our infrastructure, public transport, our education, system.
Okay. So you would get specific about that. And I understand you and others have said you don't want to form a, formal alliance, but you would get specific around things for your electorate when you're seeking to negotiate. Yes,
absolutely. My community.
Okay. Do you think that tethers you too much to the government of the day if you're sort of saying build this and they begin building whatever that might be, and then you start not liking the direction they're going, but you've already got the infrastructure started? Does that sort of tie you too strongly to whichever side might agree to doing that?
Look, first of all, like I said, we can't be too presumptuous. I mean, everybody has to win their seat. And, let's wait till election day.
But it's still hypothetical we're going to go down because you could have a balance of power. So, it's incumbent on you to sort of let your voters know, I guess, how you do it.
Everybody's saying that. I could have, or me and a few others could have the balance of power. I get that. I hear that. But I'm saying really also asking people to respect the fact that I don't want to be too presumptuous. And my community will be my priority, and of course the national interest as well, and of course the stability of this country and the stability and the strength of the government and the trust that people have, in the government that's going to be formed. So there are a lot of factors.
Would that mean, so on stability, we're nearly out of time, so apologies for jumping in. Would that mean the party with more seats, especially if it's a margin of more than one, say 2 or 3 more seats, the major party would offer more stability? You'd start with them as a point of negotiation?
I think stability in terms of the makeup of, the formation of the government, who's forming it. I mean, if I will have concern if the Greens, is going to be, part of that. It'll concern me, of course, because of some of the demands. So there's a lot of. You
don't want to be part of a government that needs Green support for supply and confidence.
I don't think so.
That sounds like you'd probably be coalition then, wouldn't you?
No, we don't know. I mean, it could be. It still be a minority Labor government. I mean, that's some of the
But essentially, Labor need to be a lot. Right. So, but if Labor is relying on the Greens, that's something you wouldn't want to be involved with, just even in a supply and confidence point of view.
Probably, I will sit down and negotiate. I will see how it works out at that other end. And let me get to that other end first, Tom. But I know that my priorities will be my community first, and then the others come into play.
Yeah, well, I understand that. These are all the caveats, and I'm not saying you're assuming you've won, but we in this business, we like to sort of cast forward. Dai Le, independent member for Fowler. Appreciate you.